Taiwanese markets, which are sitting with cuts of around almost 100 points.
The Fed feels as if they have some ways to go. How much is unclear before they hit that neutral rate.
This is the XEV-9E from the XEV brand under the Mahindra Group.
U.S. President Biden announced that Israel and Hezbollah have reached a ceasefire agreement. The support for the Nifty comes in at between 23,956 and the 24,000 level. Nifty is starting absolutely flat, 24,181.
The Nifty valuations, again, it's a very misleading number.
NTPC Green starts its journey on the green side of the screen. 113 to kick it off.
March 27, we should be reaching to 19,000 megawatt of commission capacity.
Absolutely flat on the Nifty, sensex and the mid-cap index. A press note which says that Gautam Adani, Sagar Adani and Vineet Jain are not charged with the FCPA violations.
Ola Electric, which currently holds market share of more than 30%, yesterday decided to expand its product portfolio.
A year recovery and a sharp surge from the lows. That's the theme that we are tracking right now.
Sharpest strategies, top market trends, unmatched perspectives, the trading day's most comprehensive roundup. Stay ahead with NSE Closing Bell, broadcasting live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studios in Mumbai.
Well, that is the day so far, and it is turning out to be a pretty good day. Actually, it started at about 12 noon, almost exactly at 12 noon, like a rocket which went higher, and we've not looked back since. It's not big gains, but 100 solid points on the Nifty the last I checked. This is Closing Bell. We're coming to you from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. I'm Prashant. With me, my colleagues Reema and Surabhi here in the studios. Nigel is joining us, as always, from the newsroom floor. Guys, hi, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, absolutely looking good, especially if you contrast our screen with, say, what's happening in Europe right now. Those markets are kind of under pressure. But there's interesting stuff going on. By the way, guys, do watch the dollar as well as the yield, because both have cooled off. And that's led to a bit of buying, at least in our neighborhood. Asian markets held up pretty well today.
No, absolutely. And, I think that is the highlight. That's the global highlight, the dollar weakness. I think that's maybe at the margin giving us a bit of a lift. But I'll talk about the dollar. Just a couple of specific points on the table. So sharp move starting 12 o'clock. Actually 11:56 or when it started. The Nifty is, the swing high is, actually just look at the high in the last 3 days. Friday, Monday, and then yesterday. It's all around this 24,350 level. The swing high is 24,351, around there as we speak. So that's the level to kind of take out. That's a target. First up, the Nifty bank resistance is 52,680. That's a 61.8% retracement. Again, we're not very far, about 1% away on the Nifty bank from that level. And as Surabhi said, dollar is lower. But it's not, the dollar index, for example, is around about 0.4% right now, but it's a more mechanical reaction. The reason I'm saying it's a more mechanical reaction is because, you got important cross currency. JPY is up 1% against the dollar. The NZ dollar, the New Zealand dollar, is up about 0.5% or so against the USD. And that is the reason why you're seeing a slight softening as far as the dollar index itself is concerned. But nevertheless, that's good news for emerging markets incrementally. Adani stocks are higher across the board as well. So they're getting some reprieve. We look at ports, enterprises, part of the Nifty, or energy solutions, greens, the other names, etc., which are not part of the main index. They're all up between 5, 10, 15%. More on that as we go and look at some of these rates over the next 1 hour or so. Prima.
Hi, so the statement, the clarification coming out from the Adani Group is that Gautam Adani, Sagar Adani and senior executive Vineet Jain are not facing charges under the U.S. Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, FCPA, and that's the reason why Adani Green is up nearly 10%, Total Gas is up 18%, Adani Power is up 16.5%, and in the frontline pack, even in Adani Enterprises is up close to about 11% So a big recovery seen in all the Adani Group stocks post this clarification. But outside of that, PSUs continue to see buying. The Nifty CPSE index is up. It's up more than 1%. BEL has gained nearly 9% so far this week. Remember, JP Morgan put a target price of 340 on BEL. And today as well, you're seeing buying in that. IT has gained for the 6th day in a row. The Nifty IT index will also come up for you on your screen. On the way down, you've got losers in the form of Titan, Apollo Hospital, Shriram Finance, which has been on a tear, has cooled off a tad bit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the large cap picture. And mid-caps are doing pretty well as well, about 0.5% up on the mid-cap index. Watch out for stocks like Ola Electric. We'll tell you more about it as we go along. 20% on Ola Electric. It's a move that you really can't ignore. So, Nigel, bulls all the way.
Well, that's right, bulls all the way. And around 6-7 trading sessions ago, we had made this point. If things turn around for the Adani Group, then a couple of stocks with tangible assets, that's Ambuja Cements as well as ACC, they'll stand to benefit, as well as Adani Ports as well, because those are the three assets that actually have tangible assets. Valuations are a bit of a discount. And if you look at it, ACC, it was below replacement cost. That has gained close to on 10% from the time we put out that piece as well. So some of these stocks, they have good amount of business sense. They have valuations in their favor. And now you have the positive news flow as well that's come about. So good move is what we've seen on all of these names. So Midesh Thakkar is back with us. Midesh, we're holding with solid gains, 100 points higher. But the last couple of days, we've gone to 24,350 and done a U-turn. What's your guess this time around? Do you think we've got enough 1 day ahead of expiry to close this expiry about those levels?
Well, Nigel, my sense is that I think, we might be able to get past those levels, though I think maybe it'll happen tomorrow with the expiry coming in, but the view is positive. And I've highlighted this that, buying should be done closer to 24,150 and some profit booking should be done closer to 24,350. And you look at the last 3 days, which is the Monday, Wednesday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is high. And the reading is like 24,351 on Monday, 24,343 yesterday, and 24,355 today. So, yeah, 25. The next buying should happen once we start getting past 24,365, 70 zone. Until then, I think if you book profits around 24,350, wait for a decline to enter. So we'll trade with a long bias, but the entry, I think will be slightly tactical.
Okay, lots of PSUs are doing well. We spoke about BEL and the 9% gain in 3 days, but Coal India is up and about in trade. NTPC surged 2.5%. Outside of that, frontline names like HDFC Bank has been on the front foot. HDFC Bank is up more than 1%, and Trend has been a big mover in the second half of the trading session. Trend is up close to about 3-odd%. Mitesh, what would your stock calls be for the last hour?
Yeah. On the stock side, I'll go with long positions. A buy on Astral, that's a buy with a stop at about 1770. And, target of 1835, 1840 on the upside is what I look at. It's given a pullback, so I think the risk-reward ratio from this entry point is good. And a buy on Bata with a stop at 1358 for targets of 1410.
Okay, all right, got that. Mitesh, we'll come back to you for some more ideas in a bit. Thank you for now. Let's move on and talk about some of the key newsmakers of the day. And obviously, the listing of the day has been taking top honors in terms of just Mindspace. NTPC Green listed on the exchanges and managed a small premium, 4 to 5% premium as well. Let's just pull up the stock price right now as well. Vivek is here with more details. It was a large issue. 10,000 crores is what the company is raising now, 13% up on the stock, with promise of lots of capacity addition on the renewable side ahead. Vivek, you also heard the management. So what are the overall takeaways on this company?
Well, good afternoon. That's right. So NTPC Green expected to be a slightly tepid listing, but it's actually surprised the street in terms of the kind of up move it's seen after what was largely a flattish listing. Remember, this is a 90,000 crore market cap company, prior to listing itself. So any move there is significant amount of market cap addition that we are actually looking at. 10,000 crore fresh issue, out of which 7,500 crore is what the company is looking to go ahead and reduce it at its subsidiary. But, they have a lot of capex plans, so there will be a significant amount of debt that the company will have to incur going forward. Now, when you're talking about the implied valuations, at the upper end of the price band, it was close to 16 times FY27 EV to EBITDA. Now it's become slightly more expensive after the up move, almost 13% higher. Now, talking about the install capacity, currently the company has an installed capacity of just around 3.3 gigawatt. But what is it that the company is looking at? Year-wise, is what the company has given in terms of capacity addition plan and commissioning as well. 3.3 currently, 5.9 gigawatt under construction, and almost 10.8 gigawatt is the current pipeline that the company has. Ambition FY32, the company plans to commission 40 gigawatt. 60 gigawatt is the kind of capacity that the company will have as far as FY32 is concerned. So that is a significant jump from the current capacity that has already been commissioned. What does the management tell us? Targeting close to 19,000 megawatt or 19 gigawatt of capacity by March 2027 itself. And they gave us a key number, in order to go ahead and calculate what will be the kind of earnings. They said that, when you're talking about per megawatt, the EBITDA that they're looking at is 65 lakhs per megawatt. So that, if you extrapolate to the FY32 numbers, works out to an EBITDA of close to 35,000 to 40,000 crore by FY32. This is on a base of just around 2,000 crore from FY24. So very large, growth as far as earnings are concerned is what the management has guided to. Very important to see whether they can execute on what it is that they've guided for. Right now, valuations aren't cheap. You can't really compare it to any listed peer in India because there aren't any listed peers in India. But globally, the stock too is trading at a slight premium.
We have at present more than around 13 to 16,000 megawatt of the solar projects plus wind projects which are under execution, and we are going to commission 3,000 megawatt this year by March 25, another 5,000 megawatt by March 26, and another 8,000 megawatt by 27. So March 27 we should be reaching to 19,000 megawatt of commission capacity. NTPC is having the rating which is AAA for the domestic and BBB minus, which is as far as the sovereign, as far as the international is concerned. So there is no reason that we will be taking the advantage of our funding then, which will be at the most optimum then price. FY27 we will have the 19 gigawatt commission capacity, means 19,000 megawatt. So 65 lakhs, it's translating to around 11,000 to 12,000 crores of the EBITDA. So this is, and going forward, the growth rate is going to go on increasing. We will be accelerating our growth rather than only getting flat.
Okay, all right. So there you hear some sort of projections from the management as well. Prakash Diwan is with us on the show this afternoon. Prakash, good to have you on as always. So NTPC green, seeing green on day one. Now, these are patient businesses, right? But it's a very hot side of the market. Everyone wants to have a slice of the pie, which could explain the 13% up move on the stock as well. Would you be a buyer?
Not today, Surbi. Not today at all. Because, one is there's a huge amount of allotment liberally that has been already underway in the IPO. So this particular allocation that's being done post listing is from largely, I would guess, institutional investors who would want much more than what they have secured. So on the retail side, I don't think the appetite is going to be so huge so soon. But it makes for a great portfolio pick for undoubtedly. And when I say that, given the kind of runway to growth, given the cost of funding that he's very clearly articulated, and that's always been one of the advantages, they will definitely continue doing well. But keep it pinned on your list wherever you want, because on a bad day, if this kind of gives you a good entry point, there you have an opportunity to kind of add it to the portfolio for the long term.
Prakash, hi. Afternoon. What about Sagility? Is this a company that you've tracked? It's a recent listing. They came out with their numbers 2 days back. And just for our viewers, it's a company which provides tech services to US healthcare clients, largely the health insurance companies. About 85 or 90% of the revenues come in from the US health insurance companies, where they provide tech solutions like claims management, premium billing, care management, etc. Since the numbers, which came out 2 days back, the stock has been on a tear, 20% up. Do you like it? Because it had a muted debut.
No, good afternoon, Rima. You're absolutely right. These are names that you really cherry pick when the going is tough. The listing wasn't very exuberant, but and the numbers now corroborate the fact that the growth rate is going to be probably even better than what they have clocked in Q2. My sense is that the current market cap, it's if you look at the projected numbers, profitability, it's probably valued at under 20 kind of P multiples. This also takes me back, if you see, there was a time when First Source used to be focused on, that was the only company which was working on this particular healthcare vertical, and it's a very promising space. That was the time when Rakesh Jhunjhunwala also actually bought into First Source, because he kept talking about the kind of market, the addressable market being so massive. You have healthcare, you have the hospitals, the insurers, the hospitals, and the credit card companies, or the financials, which are on the other side along with the consumer. So it makes for a great play. you almost become so critical to the functioning of these entities that they can't do without you. So this is a space which is going to grow. Though the market in the US has been very mature, I still feel there are lots of players that have actually exited the market in the last few years, and Sagility has been there. In fact, it's improved its market share. So I think it's a great bet. One of the probably most reasonably valued stock that you get, and it has a very decent pedigree. It's just that Sagility sounds new because in its earlier avatar in the Hinduja group, it was known differently till the private equity players came in. So I think even at the current level, which is slightly better than the offer price, it definitely makes for a good pick.
Okay, all right. Prakash, stay with us. Let's talk about the stock of the day, actually. Ola Electric. It's surged in trade following the launch of its new range of scooters and the Power Pod. Citi has also issued a bullish note on the stock. Sudarshan has been telling us about this. He's joining in to revise all of those key pointers on why Ola is up 20%. Sir?
So first news is, Ola has launched a range of scooters, and good part about this launch is they have launched in the affordable range. Price range of these scooters are in the range of 40,000 to rupees 65,000. Now, after that news, Citi also has come out with a note initiating coverage on the stock with a buy call, and target is rupees 90 per share. For Citi, positive thesis is, first, company has a wide product portfolio. Second, it continues to focus on strong R&D. Third is significant vertical integration, and it has a large scale of production. Citi believes soon to be launched motorcycles and electric three-wheelers will boost volumes further, and it expects profitability to improve as capacity utilization increases further. But it has also highlighted key risks. In that one, first is overall weak EV penetration. Second is elevated competition. Third is continued negative perception on service quality related to Ola. And fourth is sustained net losses that company has been reporting. On the valuations front, Citi is using sales-based valuation methodology as company is yet to break even at an EBITDA level, and target price is based on 4 times FY26 estimated EV per sales. And it also believes that company merits premium as it dominates fast-growing segment with attractive prospects. So 2 positives for Ola. First, it has launched a wide range of scooters in affordable segment. Third, positive brokerage note. On the back of that, you can see that today Ola is up almost 20%, hitting the upper circuit.
There are 3 key points that I'd like to talk about these scooters. The first one is that it's built on an adaptable and scalable platform. And with that, we are able to address a variety of use cases across personal and commercial necessities in rural, urban, and semi-rural areas. The second point is that it is a durable, reliable, affordable, and efficient series of products. And we hope with this that we will be able to address the needs of a lot of high-rise demands like gig workers and last-mile mobility needs. The third point is, this is the very sort of heart of the need, which is that it's built on this Ola portable battery. And this, we think, will address the concerns of range anxiety. We expect to launch these scooters in the timeline of March to May, these 4 scooters. And as I said, this platform is scalable and modular. We will be launching our motorcycles next year. We have said that over the next year, starting from March all the way till December, we'll be launching our motorcycles. We will be launching our Gen 3 scooters, the S1 scooters, starting from January. And further, that adds to our profitability because every generation we are able to reduce our costs and improve our margins.
All right, Prakash, what do you think? The scooter went speeding away to 140, then it corrected to around 70, and now the street is liking all that they're hearing, with regard to the Citi note, with regard to what the management had to say. Your view at around 88 rupees?
No, Nigel, the tough part is that we're yet to see the product and the acceptance thereof. That's going to probably happen middle of next year. This on paper definitely looks very promising. In fact, I must give it to the company a clear shout out to the fact that they've been able to bring costs down, use a platform in terms of efficiencies of scale to manage all of that. But, rural, semi-rural areas are yet to kind of be very clearly amenable to usage of some of these electric two-wheelers. I have my doubts in terms of the adaptability, though they've tried addressing that with the portability of the battery and all of that. But all of that is a matter of consumer habits changing. And that is something which is not in your control. So we'll have to wait and watch. Whether you buy the stock at this point, I think there's a hope trade, but I usually like to buy something which is much more resilient in terms of the volatility in the market that could happen, and that lets you sleep peacefully. This might keep you charged up through the night till the launch happens, until things start looking positive for the company from what it's been experiencing in the last few months.
There's the other trigger which I wanted to ask Sud actually, but Sud is not there. But SoftBank, I don't know how much they own, because I was looking at shareholding. They own at least 18%, maybe more, because there are other various entities. There is SVF, one fund, which is about 18%, but there are other other entities which own as well, but at least 18 more maybe. And Bhavish Agarwal, I don't know if you have this tweet. He tweeted just now, 2 o'clock, saying always amazing to meet Masayoshi Son, which is, of course, who's the founder of SoftBank, and such an energizing discussion on AI, AGI, energy, India. Just a sort of upbeat tweet with some pictures as well with the SoftBank founder, which has come through. So I'm not sure if that is being noticed as well, but I noticed it.
Okay, all right. So always good to talk to current investors, potential investors, right? So I guess that's the meeting with the SoftBank head. But Prakash, you were talking about you want to own stocks which let you sleep peacefully at night. So we all know which one of those picks it is. One of your old favorites, right? Mahindra and Mahindra. How did you find the cars? EVs. So what's the sense? I think the question really is that whether this can give a new leg up to M&M.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw enough in the vehicles that were launched yesterday.
No, I haven't been able to physically sit through any of those, but whatever specs I have tried understanding and evaluating, I think they've done the master stroke is the price point. If they are going to offer you this feature-laden EV product which competes with any of the regular IC SUVs that are available in the market, it's actually the rest of the players will have to run for cover. So what it does is it starts impacting immediately the market share of the likes of the Creta, some of the Volkswagen products that are in that segment were just kind of Kia and all of them were kind of getting a foothold in that market. Mahindra will disrupt that for sure. And remember, they also have they have the longest history of electric vehicles tried and tested of this scale, thanks to the acquisition that they made long back from Bangalore on the many motors thing. So they've evolved themselves far more better in terms of indigenization. They don't have to depend on anybody to make changes and upgrades. I think they'll do well. The vendor ecosystem has also been apprised of the kind of volumes that they're expecting, and they're significant. So it's definitely going to cause a flutter. Let's see. We'll, of course, wait to see them, try them out on the road. But from what we've seen till date, Surabhi definitely looks promising. And remember, the farm equipment thing is now kind of slowly coming back in place. This is a peak season for those numbers to back it up. And then, of course, you have the regular PV segment, which is doing fairly well for them as well. So they'll probably seem to be getting the act together. And this debacle that you saw, not debacle, but the softness that you saw in the stock seems to have got, kind of overcome very quickly. And they'll probably start creating those new highs in another few months, maybe a quarter or two.
The counter argument to this is that there is intensifying launch action in the EV industry over the next 6 to 12 months. So there is one part which believes perhaps the best of the cycle could be behind us, at least over the near term. But thank you, Prakash, for joining in. We need to slip into a very short break. On the other side, Jitendra Shriram from Baroda BNP Paribas Mutual Fund will join in.
From the lows, that was about 12 o'clock, and we've not looked back since. A little bit of Jitendra Sriram is Senior Fund Manager at Baroda BNP Paribas Mutual Fund. Jitendra, good to have you. Your thoughts on EV scooters and Ola, if you will. I don't know if you own the name.
I don't think we own the name, but by and large, overall, what I feel is that, it is a absolutely new ground-up build-out for anybody. I mean, in a sense, whether you're building a EV two-wheeler, because none of it was imagined originally the way, you have matured on, say, the traditional IC two-wheelers. So to that extent, I guess these are all starting glitches which were there. And I guess that, with a little bit of experience, you will obviously get through that entire teething troubles which were there earlier. So to that extent, I think it is a story which has a lot of promise, because it is at a very price sensitive segment, and the electric two-wheelers obviously have a lot more of affordability value to them, which should make it fairly popular going forward. So you have seen market shares for that segment actually rise quite a bit within the two-wheeler space.
Hi Jitendra, good afternoon and good to see you in. This is Nigel on this side. What about the other sectors that has been getting plenty of attention? The renewable power sector. What's your view of the NTPC Green? It listed today. Everyone thought it'll be up a couple of percent. Well, it's up close to 12-13%, and there's been plenty of interest in this space. How are you all placed?
Yeah, I think the point is that this is one of those segments of the market which are actually witnessing a lot of capex as such. So, we have seen this time and time again. Even the existing utility plays, they are seeing a lot of growth on the renewable portfolio. So this is definitely one area which is seeing a lot of money inflow, and also the way the discoms are actually adding to the renewable purchases and the kind of ramp up that is happening. So it's almost 70-80% in YOY terms in terms of the power contracting capacity. So to that extent, I think it is definitely a space which should do well for the next couple of years at least, till we meet our medium-term targets on the renewable side. And the fact is, today, given the way the equipment prices are falling, it is actually becoming a far more competitive source also. See, earlier, it needed a lot of crutches of governmental support, subsidies, etc. But with prices coming off and technology stabilizing, I think it is becoming competitive on its own standing.
Jitendra, hi. Afternoon. Just about a few months back when we had spoken, I think your small cap exposure in your funds was quite negligible. Are you, given the fall that we've seen in the mid and the small cap stocks, have you added on to your positions, and what would the call be now on the markets overall?
In fact, if I look at it in the last couple of months, selectively, yes. Some part of those earnings misses which we saw in the 2Q results, you could probably attribute it to certain softness in governmental spending because of the election dynamics, or you could talk because of the elevated interest rates and so on and so forth. I think prices did correct in quite a few small and mid caps, so we have been selectively adding to our exposures there. To the extent that, it has definitely gone up, but obviously that time the conversation was more about the large cap product, and since it is focused more on large caps, yes, it is predominantly still more than 80% will be in large caps mandatorily, but we have added a little bit of mid caps there given the price corrections that have happened across select names.
Okay, all right. I think we are just approaching the 3 p.m. mark with the market, which I think is taking a small sort of dip. Jitendra, I don't know if you have time for one more question, or should we go across to the Mahindra? Okay, I think, Jitendra, what we'll do is we'll wrap up our conversation here. Shorter one. We have the M&M interview coming up, Jitendra, so apologies. Thank you for joining us. So my colleague Parikshit caught up with the Mahindra management. Remember, Mahindra has unveiled its first 2 electric origin models, marking its entry into the electric SUV segment. This is Rajesh Jejurikar, ED and CEO, Auto and Farm Sector at M&M. Listen.
Both of these are electric origin SUVs, and they're built on what we call the InGlow platform. these are lifestyle experience chill products. So, when you see these products, we are expecting a boom kind of feeling, which is a wow, because the design is standout of each of these. They're on the same platform, but they look very distinctive. So different types of customers will get appealed to each. And we're really bringing next stage technologies into these products and next stage features. So you've got to see some of them today. We also kind of set out, one of the reasons we call this event Unlimit India is because we believe this is India's moment. And this is a demonstration of what India is capable of doing by way of comparing and competing amongst global luxury brands, but at India kind of prices. That's why it's an India moment.
Right. So who are you really targeting? Is it the compact SUV segment? As we walk, you can tell us about the market strategy. Is it the Cretas, the Kia Seltos of the world that you are targeting, the Ertigas?
We don't target a specific product. When we look at our strategy, we like to think of which customers would buy us. And we've seen in the past, over the last few years, that when we launch something, customers come from all over. Some from really super premium, expensive brands, some from entry-level brands, and categories get created that way. And I think it's the same thing that will happen here, because these are, like I said earlier, lifestyle experience products, and it's going to attract a certain kind of customer who wants a certain experience. People who really want to see cutting-edge technology in their cars. One of the things you would have heard yesterday is the way we've created the Sonic Studio experience. I mean, global music tuning experts, and we had Richard King here yesterday, talked about how you can almost create the studio tuning experience in this vehicle. The music sound system is so amazing with the 16 Harman Kardon speakers and the Dolby Atmos and all of that. So it's about experiencing something very different, and that's going to draw people from all segments. But to your specific question, I would think, we've launched the entry, what we call the Pack 1 of the BO5 at an ex-showroom of below 19 lakhs, which is going to open up a huge segment, because when you look at UV1, UV2, UV3, we have quite a substantial volume per month, almost like 18 plus 23,000 in the two, at a price point of between 20 lakhs and 30 lakhs on road. And we're really going to play in that segment.
But how do you see the competition? You've got the electric Curve, you've got the electric Vitara coming up, you've got the electric Creta coming up. So you're right there in the middle of the competition. So how do you see the market right now?
We don't focus on competition, we focus on consumer. So, people of course, there will be competition, which we think is good for the category. Because the more the people come in, it will facilitate ecosystem creation, so on and so forth, break customer barriers. So we're not worried about competition in a category where the market penetration is only 2%. We believe we have a really good product which will excite customers and will help grow this segment immensely.
Okay, but do you feel that today price parity with ICE has been achieved? EVs are now at the same price as ICE vehicles?
Well, we've only put price out of one variant of each of the two products, and by the time we come closer to Jan and in the later part of January, we would have all the prices out. But that's the intention, to get as close to on-road prices of competing ICE vehicles in that category, so that the transition barrier is really, really very easy for customers.
So when you speak about bringing price parity, how is it going to impact margins and profitability? Generally, there is a feeling that EVs are not profitable right now, and companies are still a little far away from becoming profitable in the EV segment. So what's the road ahead for you when it comes to profitability with your EV brands?
I don't know which companies you're talking about which are not profitable, but without naming...
On EVs?
On EVs, I can name, without naming the companies, I can talk about two global EV companies which are immensely profitable.
Yes.
And you know the names, so I don't want to play that out for you. So that's a paradigm that EV companies are not profitable. And if you do EVs right, manage your cost structures well, EVs will make money. What we've said on this is the percentage margin on EVs is going to be definitely lower, because the denominator is different because of taxation differences. But on a steady state, once we get out of the launch phase or a period of in the short run, we should have unit margins the same at an operating margin level.
All right. So if you were to ask about profitability in how many months, how many years?
That's something, Parishit, we'll have to wait a little bit for. But we've demonstrated a track record of showing very good performance. Our margins in our auto business, over the 3-year period have gone up really, really well, and we have the best peer margin.
Okay. Now, to ask you about how much you've really invested in putting these products together.
So these two products, so we've shared. Firstly, I'll just step back and say what's the total EV investment that we've already announced. So F22 to F24 cycle, which got over, we had said we spent about 4,000 crores on EVs. We announced that for the F25 to F27 cycle, we've announced 12,000 crores. So we have an overall EV investment of about 16,000 crores. The allocated amount from that towards these two products, which includes the development of the platform, the powertrain, the tech, and the capacity.
M&M's been one of the best performing stocks this year. In the last 1 year, up 95%. And the latest launches further providing fuel to that up move. Get into a break. As always, on the other side, we'll get you a check on what dealing rooms are saying in our segment, The Street Chatter.
Welcome back. So as the Adani Group continues to do well, I think the Nifty Bank has slipped a little bit from the top. What's come off the top? ITC, I think you pull up the intraday chart out there. That's come off a little bit from the top. BPCL as well has slipped. It was trading in the green. Now it's moved into the red. And big boy ICICI Bank, I'm looking at the large trades. It appears there's a very, very large block that's taken place on ICICI Bank. And if I have seen this correctly, more than 1 crore shares have changed hands just in the in the last few minutes or so. So that could be one stock that's moved to the low point of the day. It's pulled the Nifty Bank down. It's weighing a little bit on the Nifty as well. But it's that time of the day when Nimesh joins us to tell us what is he picking up. Nimesh, you believe the FIs will be buyers yet again?
Looks like, at least the intensity of selling has come down a lot.
That's very good.
That's very clear. And again, there is a bit of buying as well. So that's overall feedback. So the flow seems to be quite neutral from an institutional point of view, I guess. But the bigger thing is the momentum back in the broader market stocks. We've been saying for the last couple of days that the broader market stocks have literally outperformed.
Yes.
And again, I guess today, for a change, even the big pullback in the Adani stocks have changed the sentiment towards the broader market stocks as well, because on a daily basis, investors were getting hurt because of the sharp fall. So big recovery in the Adani stock also means there is a bit of relief in the broader markets as well. So that's the broad feedback that I've been picking up from the dealing rooms. I guess from a sector point of view, as I said, I've been saying for the last couple of days, there is a bit of momentum back in the PSU names. So that space continues to outperform, and there is buying as well. But I guess the one sector which has seen a bit of profit booking today is the pharma names. No specific reason for pharma stocks to be under pressure, but there is a bit of general profit booking there. But broadly, I guess not more from a Nifty point of view, but from a broader market point of view, looks like the momentum is back. And I guess at least in the month of December, if there is not big selling from the larger FIs, you might see this momentum to continue.
Well, that'll be great news, right? That long-awaited Santa Claus rally that we talk about every year. What about individual stocks, though?
Well, a lot of individual names are buzzing into it. So the first stock on my list today is Sudarshan Chemical. You've seen a sharp recovery in that name as well after a large block. Nearly 3% equity got changed hands today in a block deal. And after that, you've seen a good sharp recovery as well. In terms of seller, I understand the promoter entity was a seller in today's block, and some large HNIs were buyers on the buy side. So that's a possible trade. But also in Sudarshan Chemical, there is a big QIP also which is lined up. So even that's something to track going forward. The second name is MSTC. We don't talk too much about this name, but surprisingly, that stock is buzzing in trade. Good volumes as well. I understand a leading HNI investor was an active buyer, and hence a big move in that name in today's trade. The third name is Coal India. I'm picking this name because I've been saying this for a while now that some bit of interest seems to be back in the PSU name. Coal India has actually fallen sharply in the last few days, largely on the back of a big sell-off. Essentially, one large US-based investor was an aggressive seller. Looks like that selling is largely got over and absorbed, and now there is a bit of buying as well. Interestingly, there was a Morgan Stanley initiating report as well on Coal India today, so that's good. That's a third name. And the last is ICICI Bank. While Nigel did point out about a large block in the last 5 minutes of trade, nearly 1 crore shares got changed hands. But within the banking name, this is one stock which was very aggressively bid by larger institutions. Not sure whether it was part of the block deal, but in general, there is buying interest in ICICI Bank at these levels.
Okay, all right, Nimesh, thank you very much for that. So those are stocks on Nimesh's radar, so keep an eye. Well, let's tell you what to buy or sell today for a reverse trade when we come back tomorrow. Mitesh is here with that. Mitesh, afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Prashant. You have a BTST in Crompton. Keep a stop at about 407 here. Look for a 415 kind of a target. And Biocon is the other one, which is a BTST with a stop at 355 for targets of 360.
Okay, got that. Mitesh, thanks very much. You have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you with the market again tomorrow. Markets continuing to hold on to a bulk of that momentum, but we're not above 24,300 right now. Once again, slight dip coming through below that mark as we speak, but still 78 points higher, so not bad. Mayuresh Joshi, head of equity research at William O'Neill, is now with us. Mayuresh, thank you for joining in. I have to first ask you about Ola. 20%. Quite an electrifying move today. What do you think about the stock?
Afternoon, Surbhi. No, I think the new launches is something that has done the trick. And I think all the new launches that they've probably come with in terms of both the price points and as well as the expected range for each of the model that they've probably launched. I think that is something which has created a lot of enthusiasm for the stock itself. Again, I think a clear indication to competition that these are the price points that you are going to put on the table at this juncture. And the expectation specifically in terms of the larger model, the larger price model, is that they're obviously expected to carry portable batteries, which means that the infrastructure issues that a lot of companies probably face, or even end users, you can probably charge those batteries at home. Now, what do they do with their existing servicing issues and servicing woes is something that the street will ideally watch out for as well. But I think the enthusiasm has largely got created because of the new launches, the 30% share that it probably has, and what does competition probably do in terms of their new launches and price points as well. So yeah, I think the new launches have done the trick for it.
Okay. All right. Got that. Stay on, Mayuresh. We want to talk to you about Hitachi Energy as well, which has been such a story in the market this year. The stock is up 150% in this year itself, which explains why today it's cooling off. I mean, once the news came in of this large HVDC order, we caught up with the managing director and CEO of the company to talk about what this order win. I mean, the order win is along with BHEL. It's a large win on the HVDC side. Renewables is what the space is. So what this particular win means for them and what are the growth prospects from here on? Take a look.
We have a very clear strategy on the growth segment, high growth segments. Data center is one among them, and then renewables, the transmission, and the industries. And in addition to that, we also talked about the two other levers, that is our exports. We brought exports on a consistent basis, 25% of our total order values, and also the services, because we have been present 75 years in this country, and we have created a huge, pipeline of our install base. And we would like to leverage that install base to offer our digital and services to our customers. The two other levers, that is our exports. We brought exports on a consistent basis, 25% of our total order values, and also the services, because we have been present 75 years in this country, and we have created a huge, pipeline of our install base. And we would like to leverage that install base to offer our digital and services to our customers. And the services also high focus on that. We are taking a lot of actions in driving the service business for Hitachi. All these three combination of that, and in addition to our various other initiatives of whether it is manufacturing efficiencies, bringing.
All right, that's Hitachi Energy. At the start of the year, the stock was a 5,000 rupee stock. Now it's a 12,000 rupee stock. That's been the kind of move. And then, of course, it's cooled off with the market correction, and given the concerns on elevated valuations for some of these capital good equipment players. Mayuresh, your thoughts? Hitachi or anything else in the space that you would play that you would like?
So Surabhi, again, I think a large element in terms of the price move. The order win obviously is huge. And therefore, I think as they execute this over the next few quarters and years, that is going to substantially add in terms of how their top line grows. Obviously, in terms of operating efficiencies, you've seen EBITDA margins probably recover in the last financial year, with execution expected to be doing well for Hitachi Energy over the next few quarters as well. The expectation is that there will be a bump up in terms of the EBIT margin performance as well, which will clearly indicate operating leverage, and therefore earnings should see significant amount of earnings growth over the next couple of years. However, if I then look at how valuations are probably pegged for Hitachi Energy, assuming what they can probably deliver even from an FY26 perspective, I think the highs that it probably hit up around 15,500, 16,000. I think that was the best case scenario that they probably delivered, but there was a little bit of an enthusiasm there as well. So I think fairly valued in our opinion, late stage base as we see it. So anybody holding can hold on. Fresh investments need probably to wait out for declines. What we like again from this space, L&T within the large cap names, a clear proxy to the entire India eco play. And within the smaller names, Pennar Industries, Azad Engineering, I think these couple of stocks, in my opinion, with enhanced capacity specifically for Pennar Industries, the expectation in terms of stable earnings growth probably seems to be on the card. And Azad is a very, very niche play in terms of the critical components that it probably supplies. Very good set of numbers. And therefore, our belief is that earnings along with the strong order book and execution should reflect in their balance sheet this way.
Okay, all right. Mayuresh, stay on. We'll take a quick break. Then we'll be in the last leg. We have some more questions for you. Come back and start counting down to the close. 10 more minutes to go for trade today.
Welcome back. Well, a lot of stocks actually are moving around. Swiggy is up and about in today's trading session. You have Zomato as well that did well. Now it's cooled off a little bit, but Swiggy is the one that's really firing away in the last few minutes. Mayuresh is still with us. Mayuresh, who would have thought, right? 390 rupees odd was the IPO price. They came out on a day when the markets were very, very weak. It listed well, and it's given you a quick fire 20% return in a matter of a month. Your view on the stock at 500?
Afternoon, Nigel. No, I think when they listed, obviously, they left something on the table as far as the valuations were concerned for investors. And therefore, with a lull, I think the stock is now picking up pace. Obviously, the expectations in terms of their quick commerce segment, like Zomato turned it around over the last few years, is something that the street probably expects and hopes. At the same time, the dark store expansion that all of them are doing, Zomato, Swiggy, even Zepto, their unlisted peer, is something to be watched out for. And the trends that we are probably seeing in terms of quick commerce, specifically for urban areas, semi-urban areas as well, I think there should be an increasing trend thereof going forward as well. So I think earnings will be key for Swiggy going forward, and what probably they do with their quick commerce segment, like Zomato did in the case of Blinkit. So fingers crossed for this. But in my opinion, I think a large part of the move is probably in the price at this stage.
By the way, the mid-cap and the small-cap index is at the day's high. The mid-cap index has added on nearly 400 points. The small-cap index is up more than 1%. Vodafone Idea continues to see green on the screen. Remember, yesterday it got relief in form of release of the bank guarantees. Vodafone Idea has gained another 10% in trade. NIIT is also a big mover, 3%. It stands out because of the kind of volumes that it's tracked in today's trade. We've got some opinion coming in. In fact, not opinion, but earlier today we had chatted with the management of Zaggle. This is as the company had signed a new referral partnership agreement with MasterCard for a period of 3 years. And since then, the stock has been up close to about 5%. We chatted with the MD and CEO of Zaggle Prepaid. We spoke about the fundraise plans, the growth outlook going ahead. Listen in.
The board has approved 950 crores of fundraise, which is a combination of debt and equity. The shareholder decision is awaited, which should come in by 2nd or 3rd of December. The whole idea is to be able to raise, potentially have an enabling provision to be able to raise a combination of debt and equity up to 950 crores to grow both domestically and internationally, organically and inorganically. We are looking at about 50 to 55% growth this year. Mind you, last quarter was about, I think, 83%. So we are well on target for that. And margin levels, we stay at the current levels of around 9 to 10% this year.
All right, that's the Zaggle management with perspective. I think there's, 4 minutes to go for close. Mayuresh, and any thoughts? Do you track this one? Zaggle's done very well. Doubler this year.
Afternoon, Prashant. Yeah, and the management probably seems to be very, very optimistic in terms of their overall earnings delivery as well. And they've probably done that, Prashant, to a large extent. So if you look at FY24 numbers, if I'm not mistaken, they've posted around 780 or 785 crores in terms of top line, around 85 or 90 crores in terms of EBITDA. And therefore, I think what they've probably done in the first half of almost 550 odd crores, around 55 crores at EBITDA, even if they carry this run rate in the second half, and mind you, I think Q3, Q4 are traditionally very, very strong quarters for Zaggle. So they will surpass the growth that they probably delivered in FY24. And as the management was just elucidating in terms of their earnings growth and expectations of margin performance to probably hold out. Obviously, I think the omni-channel presence that they probably got with payment instruments, that Propel platform doing well, the mobile applications and API integrations, along with their 14, 15 odd banking partners they've got, that should aid earnings growth as well. Yeah, so the momentum might very well continue with better earnings.
Okay. All right, Mayuresh, just stay on. We'll quickly wind down the day's trading action, then come back to you for some more comments. Okay, the Nifty gain is about 84 points. Looks like the index is not going to go home above 24,300. But nevertheless, I mean, look at the second half and the first half. And the second half is so much better than how we started off quiet in the morning. The big story of the day has been the rebound in the Adani group of stocks. A lot of them are on circuit. Look at Adani Power, Adani Total Gas. Here, stocks are up about 20% apiece. Adani Green, 10%. Adani Energy Solutions, 10%. And even the other companies, the larger ones, Adani Ports and Adani Enterprises, all of them up and about it. In fact, Adani Enterprises and Ports are the biggest gainers on the Nifty as well, with those big towering moves. Good day for a lot of PSUs. So BEL on the index 3% higher, NTPC 2.5%, Coal India. These are stocks that have done really well. And then you have a bunch of other heavyweights that came into the Bulls party today. HDFC Bank 1.5% up. Lever contributed quite nicely as well. And the other names that actually sort of did not work out, I should mention here. Some of the tech names like TCS, HCL Tech, they dropped out. Titan, Britannia, Asian Paint, some of the consumer names, which were down about 1.5%. But otherwise, it's been a largely good session with plenty of movers and shakers on the upside. A lot of auto names as well, by the way. Big day for autos. Maruti Suzuki, Bajaj Auto, Hero Moto, and even M&M after those launches, managing about 0.5% gain.
Well, on the way down, Apollo Hospitals is your top loser. Then you've got cuts in Titan. Shriram Finance lost nearly 1%, retracing some of the recent up move. IT names like Wipro, TCS also correcting. Britannia, Asian Paint, some pharma names, Dr. Reddy's, Sun Pharma, weak in trade too. But the broader markets had a much better day. The mid-cap index up close to about 2/3 of a percentage point. The small-cap index up more than 1%. And look at the rallies. Ola Electric, 20% up a circuit. Fed Bank Financial, that's up close to about 13%. EIL, 10%. Swiggy, 9% today, 21% in the last 3 days. Aster DM, Sagility, HCC, and then the other Adani Group names like Adani Power, Total Gas, Adani Wilmar, also flying.
Absolutely, and good day, all told. So you also had I guess the defense names. Some of them you mentioned: Mazgaon, Garden Reach, Bharat Defense. Looking good. By the way, you look at the defense index, the Nifty defense index, that is up sharply from about 6,000 odd levels in 3 days back to about 6550 levels now. BEL was higher, EIL was higher. There were names like IRCON, which ended up. So yeah, I mean, lots of stuff. On the downside, I mean, there are a few names, but nothing with large volumes. The biggest volume-led losers are ZFCV India, where there was, of course, the promoter stake sale. Prestige was lower, and Afcons was lower as well. So those are three names with volumes which were under a bit of pressure. But broader markets shining, Nifty lesser so, but a good session nevertheless. This is, of course, Wednesday coming to a wrap. But it's a wrap of the session, a closing bell. Markets forward will prepare you for Thursday, that is tomorrow. Stay tuned. Rima and I'll take that forward. Stay with us.